3 months after the rumored passing of His Royal Majesty Ogiame Ikenwoli, the 20th Olu of Warri, the Itsekiri nation on Monday the 5th of April 2021 formally announced that the monarch had joined his ancestors. The occasion of the formal announcement also paved way for the unveiling of Prince Shola Emiko as the Omoba and Olu designate. His emergence is, however, generating ripples across the entire Warri Kingdom. With the breaking of 3 earthen pots, followed by 20 cannon shots, the Iyatsere of Warri Kingdom, Chief Johnson Atseruleghe, formally announced the passing of His Royal Majesty Ogiame Ikenwoli, the 20th Olu of Warri, who joined his ancestors in December last year. As is customary, the announcement of the demise of an Olu immediately paves way for the unveiling of an Olu designate, otherwise known as Omoba. Prince Shola Emiko was presented to the Itsekiri Assembly as Olu designate. He would later be installed as the 21st Olu of Warri Kingdom. Before this formal unveiling of the Olu designate, a lot of scheming took place as several groups were pushing and lobbying for their preferred candidate. The only ruling house in Warri Kingdom, Giniwa I, which is saddled with the responsibility of providing a candidate, met, deliberated, and chose Prince Shola Emiko, after which they duly wrote to the 5-member Olu Advisory Council, chaired by the Olu of Warri, Chief Ayiri Emami. Upon receipt of the letter, Chief Ayiri, who felt the ruling house did not follow the provisions of a 1979 edict stipulating the requirement and processes for the selection of an Olu, tore the letter into shreds, enveloped it, and returned it to the Giniwa I ruling house.
I condemn it in totality. It was not matured of his position. It does not mature of any civilized and educated person to do that. It is wrong.
Led by Chief Ima Okotiebo, the Olori Ebi and current regent of Warri Kingdom, the Giniwa I ruling house felt insulted by Chief Ayiri's action and subsequently wielded the big stick. What followed was Chief Ayiri's suspension as the Olu of Warri Kingdom.
Chief Ayiri Imami, having exhibited actions and tendencies unbecoming of the position he occupies, and having proven himself unworthy of the Olu stool, is hereby suspended from the Warri Kingdom.
When Inside the Niger Delta called Chief Ayiri for an interview to get his reaction on these issues, he declined comment, saying he is in consultation and will address a press conference very soon. However, one of the kingmakers, Chief Isaac Jemide, the Oshodin of Warri Kingdom, describes the suspension of Chief Ayiri as ultra-vires and of no effect whatsoever.
In Latin, in law, it said, nemo dat qui non habet. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot take what you did not give. The person who made the Olu was an Olu. It's only an Olu that can take Olu from him.
I'm standing in front of the Olu's Palace now, which is also known as the Agofe. And right now, you can see the red and black cloth, which of course signifies mourning. I'm going to go in now and try to locate the chiefs and try to determine what the situation is with all the stories we have heard about the selection process being right or being wrong. Inside the Olu's Palace, I met some members of the Warri Council of Chiefs in a meeting chaired by the Iyatsere Chief Johnson Atseruleghe. I asked him to respond to Chief Ayiri's claim that only the Olu can crown the next Olu of Warri. The Iyatsere said, consequent upon Chief Ayiri's suspension as Olu, he has lost his rights to perform all traditional duties, leading to the eventual installation of the 21st Olu of Warri. Chief Atseruleghe is now acting as the Olu of Warri and performing the duties of the office.
If one person is telling you that I is the one to crown, the one to announce a ledger, it's not true. If I'm not here today, this is the number 3 man. Chief Gabriel Awala is the Wangwe of Warri Kingdom. If Wangwe is not there, Ojomo, Chief Yaya Pesu, take the leadership. For example, 2015, when our Olu Atuwache joined his ancestors, there was no Loboshere, no Iyashere, no Wangwe. The number 4th man, Yaya Pesu, the Ojomo, he took over. He did the whole process from the beginning to the end, and nobody queries him. So whosoever is saying that the emergence of our Olu designate is 40, the person is on his own. Prince Shola Emiko have 100% of the Itsekiri nation support. It's the choice of the people, it's the choice of the God, and the oracle has spoken. It's the choice of the oracle.
For opponents of the Olu designate, Prince Shola Emiko, they insist that the 1979 edict, which guides the selection process of an Olu, disqualifies him as his mother is of Yoruba origin. According to the edict, for one to qualify as an Olu, his father must be Itsekiri and his mother must be either Itsekiri or of Edo origin. Chief Robinson Ario, the Egogo of Warri Kingdom, says the edict was a mistake they are now determined to correct.
What has happened is that we are trying to correct the wrong that was done just once, and that was 2015. Our link, our affiliation with the Yoruba and Edo and Benin is inseparable. It is linked together. So it will amount to injustice to exclude a person solely on the ground that that person's mother is Yoruba, a place where we are from. It will be denying our roots.
Despite the provision of paragraph 4 in the 1979 edict, paragraph 6 says, upon consultation of Ifa oracle, the oracle's decision on a candidate is final. A paragraph which some of the chiefs say supersedes any provision in the edict.
Like the oracle said he was king, he has been king from the mother's womb.
Also, what Itsekiris find surprising in the 1979 edict is the deliberate attempt to cut off their age-long affinity with the Yoruba nation.
I am surprised, very, very surprised. And it's something, you know, when something wants to go wrong, it goes wrong. Otherwise, this edict would have been amended. The father of a man who has been selected or designated now, so he would have taken steps to amend this thing easily, and nobody would have quarreled with it, because we are Yoruba people as such, He would have amended it, but he didn't amend it. They amend the law. The law still remains. It is this same provision that disqualified this man now, the designate now, from being, he would have been the Olu instead of the late one.
As his own attempt to bypass the 1979 edict, the late Ogiame Ikenwoli II had invoked his right of what the Itsekiris call affirmation to make a proclamation, including Yoruba tribe as one of the places an intending Olu's mother must hail from. The affirmation, especially when not challenged, is binding on all Itsekiri people. As if to reinforce his cultural affinity with the Itsekiris, two Yoruba traditional rulers who represented the Oni of Ife traveled to the Itsekiri, traditional headquarters of the Itsekiri nation, to be part of the unveiling of Prince Shola Emiko as Olu designate.
I'm so happy today that I witnessed what the chiefs of Itsekiri Kingdom did by electing a new Oba-elect in person of Prince Shola Emiko.
Though the different groups are still squaring up against each other, what is clear is that the train has since left the station. The necessary rites leading to the coronation of Prince Shola Emiko as the 21st Olu of Warri began since Monday, the 5th of April 2021. What is now imperative for everyone is a broad-based reconciliation of all parties to ensure a hitch-free coronation in 3 months' time.
At any given time in our history, when there is tussle for succession of the Olu, there is a group called Moje, I agree, and another group that says Meje, I don't agree. But immediately the Omoba, the Olu designate comes out, is agreed on, all the Moje, Meje, they all come together and we continue with our life. So it's not new, and already that is happening. Reconciliation is going on as we speak.
The reconciliation process is already producing results, as some chiefs like Prince Omolubi Newuwumi, who had opposed the emergence of Prince Shola Emiko, has now made a U-turn.
Since nobody grew up to the extent of stopping that process that came up on the 5th, then I'm advising my brothers, my sisters, that we should allow the process to go.
Itsekiri-born social media influencer Freedom Ashekpoyi, popularly known as Mr. Jollof, who made several posts against the Olu designate, is now singing a different song.
Omoba Shola Emiko, the Olu designate of Warri Kingdom. Now push me. Yes. But any talk will not happen. Ogiame, forgive me.
President Muhammadu Buhari and other dignitaries, including the APC national leader, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have all congratulated Prince Shola Emiko on his emergence as the Omoba and Olu designate. What is, however, curious is the fact that the governor of Delta State, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, who has maintained a studied silence on the matter, has neither congratulated Prince Shola Emiko on his emergence as Omoba nor condoled the Itsekiri nation on the passing of His Royal Majesty Ogiame Ikenwoli, the 20th Olu of Warri Kingdom. As the contending forces in the Itsekiri nation try to resolve their differences, the Nigerian people look forward to the coronation of a 37-year-old serial entrepreneur, Prince Shola Emiko, as the 21st Olu of Warri Kingdom.